Hope you all are doing well today. I want to start by saying a very big thank you. It's still echoing. Find ways to adjust it. I want to start by saying a very big thank you. Reduce the gain. Is the gain. Is the gain. All right. See, it's normal now. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you all are doing well today. So we are responding. Reduce the little. Okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So we are so delighted to be here. It's been a long while, and this is due to the fact that I have been doing a lot of things. Please tell her to take that outside. All right. So today we are going to be talking about the 176 estates that Lagos State government listed, and we're going to be talking extensively on that. Do I have a message? All right, so I'm going to be listening to that. I'm going to be talking about that very quickly. So let me just know where you're joining us from. Let us quickly talk about this very quickly. This is just one of the things that we're going to be looking at today. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that actually watched our video yesterday. I had to make that video available because of a lot of my viewers online. So there was a message that came online very quickly, and a lot of people have been sending it to me, and they have actually been waiting for my reactions and what I was going to say about it. And should I be worried if the name of the estate I bought, okay, is listed among these illegal estates that was listed? If I adjusted my camera, okay, so should I be worried? Okay, so we're going to be looking at that. Of course, like I do, it's a tradition here. I'm not going to be listing any real estate company. I don't want any court related cases. I don't want, I'm not Scott. I honestly don't have that effrontery, okay, to either, respond or react. So I will not be listing that. I will not be calling names, but I will try as much as I can to respond to some of these. So in case you are the estates that was listed, okay, is on the official website of the Lagos State government, and also a lot of bloggers have carried it. If you look for Linda KG, it's also on the blog. So my job basically is not to probably talk about that or list anything, but my job basically is to react to it and tell you people what is going on basically. I'm not also going to downplay or undermine what could be the consequences of this. It is very important that in anything we are doing we should also um, try as much as we can, okay, to strike a balance, okay. It is very important for us not to just give information based on one side. So the first thing I'm going to say basically is that if you have bought a property and the name of the estate you have bought from is being listed is among the 176 illegal estates. So I'm going to start by explaining what actually happened, and also to let you know that this exercise actually started last year, and I'm so sorry. So this exercise actually started last year. So we're going to be going on Facebook as well. So please let me know where you're joining us from. So the exercise started last year because Lagos State government have been trying to enforce a lot of things, okay? And one of such things basically is that they are trying as much as they can, okay, to good push this up a little. Okay, it's okay. All right. Sorry, we're going live on also on Facebook as well, because I have audience there as well. All right. So we are live now. What exactly is going on? Now, we know basically yesterday I did a video where I featured one of our surveyors, a registered surveyors, and in our conversation yesterday on that program, basically, Mr. Godsen, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Hi. So in that interview, we talked about the Lagos State plan for Ekpe, and we talked about what the Ekpe Mixed Development Scheme is. We also talked extensively on what real estate investors should expect, and then we went further, okay, to give insightful information on what you need to do if paraventure your estate is taken. And luckily, or will I say this, the news of the 176 estates. Now, the first thing I want to tell every real estate investor is that this call for calm, please. This is not the time for you to panic. Okay, it is not a time for you to panic. You don't need to start giving yourself unnecessary worries over this. What is actually happening basically is a situation whereby, according to the Lagos State government, these real estate development companies don't have what they called approved layouts. Okay, according to Lagos State government, these companies did not process what we called approved layouts. Now, if you have been following this channel, if you have been following this Facebook handle or any of our social media, we have been talking extensively for some time how the Lagos State government have been trying everything possible to regulate the activities of real estate developer, and the call for regulation was actually deemed necessary because we had a lot of unfortunate circumstances, fraud, scams, and this was the reason why government decided, okay, to come into the picture, and government started introducing some regulatory measures, and one of such regulatory measures is the approved layouts, okay, that government mandated. Of course, there were a lot of policies and laws, okay, that government actually made mandatory, but of all of them is the compulsory approved layouts and some couple of other things. Now, the point basically here is that if peradventure, basically, the your property or the real estate company that you bought property from is being listed, like I said, you can go to the Lagos State website. Okay, you will see the list of these companies there, and you can also check Linda EKG. The names of these companies are also there. So I just need to quickly reiterate that. So I'm not here to call out names. I'm not going to list any names. I obviously don't have business with that. So what actually happened? Why were these companies listed? Now, the first thing basically is that government is monitoring real estate activities. Government is keeping records of the activities of real estate developers in Nigeria. The call for regulations have actually risen to the government, and they want to keep record of people who are into real estate development. Now, why have some of these companies listed, or what could be the reasons why government has tagged them as illegal estate developments? Well, a lot of things could be responsible, but one major thing that I know basically is that majority of them don't have approved layout. Now, a lot of things could be responsible for that, so I'm not obviously here to talk about that. Now, should I be worried? Should I panic? Should I take or make hasty decisions? No, you don't. You definitely don't have to do that. Okay, so what you need to do, if peradventure the estate you have bought, a lot of people have reached out to me concerning this, and I'm going to tell you what I told some of them. Now, the first thing basically that you need to do basically is that you need to reach out to the real estate company and let them explain what is actually going on. Now, when I went through that list, the list of estates that Lagos State government tagged as illegal, there were some gigantic real estate development companies that were there, and I was shocked. I was shocked in the sense that, number one, these people have titles to the property, okay, verifiable titles. These people bought the estate legally, and the fascinating thing is that the surveys that these companies did, they did it through the office of the Lagos State Government. So I was kind of shocked that why were these guys listed? And of course, trust me, I just don't realize. So I picked up the call, picked up my phone, and I spoke with one of these real estate developer, the biggest of all, out of them. And the man said he does not even understand what his own name was actually doing, what the name was doing on that list. Because, like I said, this exercise, the entire exercise started last year, and there was no need for this. So he said they have paid all the money they need to pay, they've submitted all the documents they need to submit. So why their name was there is what they don't entirely understand. So basically, he said he's going to address this in this following week, and of course, it's going to get back to me. And of course, there's also another developer too, one of, in fact, if not the biggest, that I also saw his name there. And when I saw the second real estate developer's name, this is one of the biggest. So I knew basically that there might be some maybe clerical or administrative errors from the office, because I know that most of these people have paid and they should have gotten the approved layouts. So of course, like I said, I will try as much as I can to get you um, um, updated as the event begins to unfold. So I'm going to get to the root of this matter. Of course, you can be rest assured. You can be rest assured that I'm going to get all the necessary information as things begin to unfold. That one is also certain. So I'm going to get to the root of it. But what I'm trying to say basically is that some things might be responsible. Number one, it might, mark my word, I said it might be maybe some clerical or administrative of errors for some from the government, because I know that some people have paid for their approvals and their name is not supposed to be there. But like I said, I'll get to the roots, and of course I will convey the information to you later. Now, going forward, what do real estate investors need to understand? A lot of people have reached out to me and they said, quotes, I don't work with people's feeling, I don't work with people's opinion, I don't work on based on people's recommendation. What I work basically is facts, figures, and information. So um there is no um thing like that. I don't work with someone said no, I don't do that. So that was why I said I'm going to get to the root of this matter, and we're going to address this, because some of the estates that were listed, most of these guys have CFOs, most of these guys have governance consent, most of these guys have layouts. In some of these estates, there are structures there, people have built, and a lot of activities are going on. So when I saw these companies, I know definitely something is there. So it's not something you should be worried about. It is not something that should give you sleepless nights. It is not something that should raise your BP as a real estate investor. In Lagos, a lot of things happened, and one of the things you need to understand basically is that when situations like this happen, it is very important that you allow us get to the root of the matter, and of course, we will convey what could be happening. But from the list I saw today, okay, I know some real estate companies that can never ever be in a situation whereby government will call their estate illegal. So like I said initially, there might be maybe some clerical or administrative errors, but we'll find out, and of course I will relate that back to you as soon as possible. All right. So going forward, how do we address the problem of illegal real estate development, or how can we not fall into the traps and some other things? Now, one of the things I discovered basically was that majority of these estates that were listed, okay, were estates that were along. Majority of them are in the ibeju-lekki. In fact, 70% of them or 80% of these estates are in the ibeju-lekki corridor. I found out, apart from those that had COOs and governors consent, which I'm very, very convinced that it might be an error from the government. apart from those ones, majority of these estates are, some are in the Elenogbe corridor, some are in the Okunfulu. Of course, when you check the list, you get to see them. So they are very, very numerous. And so, what exactly is now the problem? I think what the problem is basically is that majority of these real estate development, I'm not talking majorly on these two big names I've mentioned, okay? Their names are there because I spoke with the MD and showed me evidence of payment, evidence of lodgement, and some other things. So why their name is there, is going to get back to me, and of course I'll relate it back to you. But the basic thing that I have discovered basically is that apart from those two, which I know it's a clerical error, majority of these estates, okay, are located in the ibeju-lekki corridor. Most of them sold as excision or excision in process. I really cannot phantom, but I can just tell you basically that some of these estates sold long time ago, long time ago. And my major interest basically is that this estate sold, some sold far back in 1990. Oh, sorry, I said 1990. Some estate, of course, some of them are in the 1990s, some 2000, 2021, 2022. Why is Lagos State government enforcing regulations, or why are they calling for um, approved layouts? Number one, the first reason why government is making it mandatory for every real estate developer to have approved layout is that majority of these um, estates are not used according to the um, Lagos State physical planning scheme, or Lagos State physical planning approval for that area. So I'm going to explain. So when I talk about that, these estates are not used within the. So what I'm trying to say basically is that there are some of these lands that are not for residential and they are being used as residential, or they are being sold as residential. There are some of these estates, okay, that are not that are Greek and should not be converted to residential there. So the basic thing is that these estates were not used according to the stipulated plan that government have for that area. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why government is going after that estate. Number two, another reason why government is requesting for mandatory layout is due to the fact that apart from these two developers I mentioned, majority of these developers, more importantly, those who are in the Folu, the Elerongbe, is that majority of them bought and they did not develop. And if you look at what is happening basically in Lagos, is due to the fact that um, Lagos is now becoming highly urbanized to the point that you cannot afford to have abandoned lands. Yes, the urbanization in Lagos right now is getting to a point whereby it has become extremely difficult for you to just buy land and leave it. See, there's hardly a place right now in the Lagos corridor where you will see lands that are being used for agri. If you're looking for lands that are being used, that means you're going to the way border town. It's maybe between border of Epe and Ijebode, or Ikorodu and Omu, or you're going to the extreme border like the Ogun State, the Ibadan. So that's where you see border. So now, the plan that government have basically is that the urbanization should spread as quick as possible. So majority of these lands were sold as land banking and they were not developed. And this time around, government is saying no more land banking in Lagos. So a lot of them have abandoned the estate, and that's why government is enforcing this layout. Because you see, the approved layout will come with its own survey, the approved layout will come with its own plan, and the approved layout will also come with a development timeline. So if you have an approved layout, okay, in Alausa, in Lagos State Ministry of Land, or the Lagos State Land Bureau, once your property has an approved layout, there's a timeline of development. If you don't meet that timeline for development, government will collect that land and give it to someone who is ready to develop. So the era whereby people are buying bushes and leaving it for years, those eras are gradually going off cycle. So you don't get to see those eras again. So that's one of the reasons. And number three, one of the reasons why government is requesting for approved layout is that majority of these estates don't have good title documents. So it will now become extremely difficult for you to do an approved layout without a good title, at least excision. So it has now become extremely difficult. Now, the intention that government is trying to achieve here basically is that if I call for an approved layout, you will be mandated to perfect your land title. And I would see this as a good call. It's a good call because it's quite remarkable. This is something that we should applaud government for. So that's some of the reasons. So there might be other reasons, okay? There might be other reasons, but these are the three basic reasons that I'm very, very much familiar. Now, as an investor, if the property you bought, I said it at the commencement of this video that if the property you bought, okay, falls under this, please let them get me an handkerchief, call them. Now, if the property you bought, okay, falls within this property, what should you do? What should you do? Should you panic? Now, apart from some of the real estate developers that I've seen their name that I know, in fact, I was not even worried when I saw their name. So I know basically it's an error from clerical staff. For others, well, I really cannot tell what could be happening, but like I said, I'm open to information, and of course I'll be relating that to you. So that is why you have to subscribe if you're on YouTube, and of course that's why you have to follow me if you're on Facebook, so that you can get updated information. So now, if your estate or the property you bought is among those listed, so the first thing you want to do is that you want to reach out to the real estate development company. Now, there are many of these companies that have sold properties, and larger percent of these companies are no longer in existence. So there's really nothing to sugarcoat. Majority of them right now are off the scene. Okay, I know of some that are totally off the scene. So so what does this connote? I honestly don't know. But so if the company you have bought from are totally off the scene, they are no longer in existence, so you can as well come to the conclusion that you have dealt with the wrong real estate development company. So the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to be really, really sure if the company you bought from, okay, are still in existence. Because you see, you cannot talk about getting to the root of the matter even without ensuring if the developer that sold to you is still in existence. Okay, I know some, not all. So that is why. So I've seen some names of some of these listed companies, and I can tell you the developer know the Nigeria again. So that one is off the scene. Then secondly, the next thing you also want to do basically is that you also want to check with the company if the properties is still within their possession. The reason why I'm saying this basically is that for Lagos State government to list them, okay, as companies without layout. Now, there's an ultimatum that has been given. The government gave 21 days ultimatum, okay, and this 21 days ultimatum is going to reveal a lot of things to real estate investors who have bought, okay, into these properties. So I would say the 21 days ultimatum is like a period of grace, but a lot of things will certainly happen within that time frame. But the most important of all is that you should look out for the reaction. So going forward, you have seen, every one of us have seen that government pays serious attention to the activities of real estate development in Lagos. I don't know about other states too, but as long as Lagos State government is concerned, we have seen now that there is serious regulation in Lagos. There is serious interest in the activities, and I said at the commencement of this video that this interest is based on the fact that there have been a lot of complaints from people who have been swindled, from people who have been duped. Of course, many of us can testify to what is presently going on within Scott, Guma, and P1 Real Estate. And then, of course, we're all watching and seeing how the whole event will unfold. And of course, trust me, I'm monitoring that situation as well, just to know. So there've been a lot of things. So you have now seen that real estate development in Lagos is no longer business as usual. It's no longer business as usual. So one important thing that you want to do now is that you want to work with development companies that are ready to follow government regulations. You want to work with real estate development companies because you see, if you don't pay attention to this, what we have seen now is like child's play compared to what is a lot of revelations will be coming, because the rate at which this His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is on the matter of real estate developers is massive. I would say is maybe due to the fact that the governor was a surveyor or is still a surveyor, so I think he understands some basic land regulations. So he's so much interested in it, and we are also looking at it. So going forward, you must only work with companies. See, a lot of people don't understand one thing, and I'm going to quickly explain this. Though I've said it countless times, I've made my reservation, and I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. As long as Lagos, it is not about price. As long as Lagos is concerned, it is not about what this person is offering or what that person is offering. It is not about this one is cheaper than this one. Now, from the ongoing situations right now, from what we have seen, we can clearly attest to the fact that real estate business right now is being heavily regulated. And this is just the beginning. So if you must buy, it doesn't matter the kind of properties you're buying. If you don't want to waste money, you should only buy from companies who understand and who are working with these regulations. Now, a lot of people have said this could be a strategy that will make a lot of people lose their real estate in Lagos. Well, I don't know. I cannot come online and attest to what I don't have evidence to back up. Sure, you understand. Now, some people have also said it's a witch hunting thing, that some particular tribes are being targeted. In addition to what I said initially, there is no substantial proof to either affirm or confirm if that is true, basically. So I would not debunk this, neither will I confirm it. All I can say basically is that real estate business in Lagos right now is becoming more and more intense. Now, one thing I have actually suspected, like I said, I stand to be corrected, is that this basically is an attempt to clamp down a lot of illegal development. You see, when it comes to real estate development in Lagos, I can categorically tell you guys this truth. Real estate companies are way too much. In this 2025, I can categorically tell you that every shops, every available office space they are all real estate developers. This one is selling this one is selling this. So it has become extremely difficult, okay, for government to adequately address cases of fraud. Yes, it has become, in fact, totally impossible for government to. So all these things are regulations to keep, okay. So at some point, please mark these days down. What we have seen is just one out of different strategies that government is looking to enact. This is just one out of several. So expect that other laws will be passed. And as these laws are being passed, a lot of real estate companies will struggle to meet up these requirements. This is not more or less like a prophecy of doom. The question basically is that some companies were never even meant to have existed in the first place. I won't say beyond that. So what everybody is talking about right now is the approved layout, which some companies or some estates have been listed. Expect more. Now, the reason for this basically is that government is trying to clamp down the activities. See, if you notice the number of fraud that is being reported daily in the real estate sector, and that's why I've said it before. A lot of people have interactions with me. We've had conversation, and when they will tell me I bought this so from this property, from this estate, from this company. you know I hate to admit this, but the reality here is that when some investors mention some name, is either I'm hearing that name for the first time. Okay, in my years of experience, I've been in the industry since 20. I'm sorry to admit this. I've been in the industry since 2019. So all through my years, of course, it is totally impossible for me to know, okay, all the real estate companies that exist in Lagos, Nigeria. But there are some companies, there are some names I've heard that, like, I was like, wow, like, seriously. So they are more so, and the reason for that basically is that a lot of people have tagged, the real estate industry to become the new best thing after petrol or after gold. So we have it, the industry is saturated. So by the time government begins to implement, or introduce regulations and policies, I can assure you that companies that will be able, okay, to meet up with this demand. Let's say, for instance, we have like 5,000 real estate companies in Lagos, which I believe is even more than every shop, every corner, every offices, everywhere. They are all real estate. So, and of course, the system or the process of setting up a real estate company is very, very easy. All you need to do is just get your CAC, get an account with the bank, do your EFCC registration, and boom, you have started development. Now, so by the time government begin to state out all these regulations, let's say we have 5,000. I can assure you that by the time government is done, the industry will shrink from 5,000. That I think what we'll have after that 5,000, by the time all these exercises are done, might be maybe 2,500 or 3,000, because a lot of people will fail to live up to expectation. So to avoid this, work with us. When I started this video, I didn't mention names, I didn't mention brand, and of course, it's intentional, and of course, security wise, it's also intentional. And we cannot just come and say buy from this, buy from this, buy from this. A lot of people, most times, have contacted us when the situation has got way out of hands, out of reach, out of, I would say, out of where situations are bad, where there's little myself or my lawyer or my surveyors or anything can do. Situations most times are mostly out of hand, and there's a little we can do to either salvage the situation. So I don't know for other state, as long as it's Lagos, work with us. I won't say beyond that. I won't say beyond that. I've shared some of my experiences. I've gone for, there was a particular woman that called me. She bought a property. The realtor is no longer available. She's trying to get across to the realtor. The realtor is not picking. Blah blah blah. So after several persuasion, this particular woman persuaded me. So I went for sites. When I got to the real estate company, I knew that company would not survive 2024, and they wanted to do allocation. So it's a case of, let me just allocate these people so that they won't come and be dragging me online that I don't give them land. So when we got there, I saw the company. I knew there was a problem. When we got to the allocation, the allocation that was slated for 10, we could not do any meaningful allocation until 12. What happened basically was that some section of the family claimed that the people that sold to the company did not have the legal right to do so. So they had to call the attention of the tradition. Excuse me. So they had to call the attention of the traditional ruler of that community. So the traditional ruler had to mediate. So the real estate developer had to call some the traditional ruler. Now, the reason why I can share this is that majority of the conversation was in Yoruba language, and of course, when you look at me, if I don't speak Yoruba, you won't know I'm Yoruba. I look like somebody from the east. Of course, I spent my service here in Imo State, so I understand some Igbo too, at least to an extent. So you will know. So the conversation was done in Yoruba, and one of the things I could really talk about, or I could depict from the conversation, is that the developer had to pay some amount of money to the ballet to persuade the warring faction of that family to allow the allocation to take place, and he had to bribe them for them to have a conversation after the allocation. They did not wanted a scene. Okay, so basically that was what happened, and there was no way I could tell the woman that what you bought, trust me, you're still going to go and buy from Omonile again. So these are some of the things. So to avoid situations like this, okay, to avoid situations like this, it is always advisable that you work with experienced brands like us. There is no way in ibeju-lekki that I don't know. I have said this countless times. You cannot say, okay, fine. You want to lose somebody, or you want me to miss my way. There's no way you will take me to ibeju-lekki that I don't know. Likewise, a pair and some part of Abraham and the Lekki. So I have walked the length and breadth, so to the point that I can categorically tell you what is going on here. So a lot of people undermine our service because I will not lie to you. I honestly don't know how to. And though some of my colleagues have, they've said it to me openly that with the way you are doing this business, it seems you don't want to buy car, you don't want to live in the most expensive estate. What's the essence of doing negative things to raise wealth? That will basically become a curse, not to you, but also to generation. But so I will never be a reason why my generations will start to suffer. So I told them, okay, fine, I really don't mind. I don't care what you say, but I ain't gonna try. A lot of real estate developers have come. Some have offered me car, some have offered me mount country just for me to promote what I know will bring problem, and I did not. I turned them down. So basically, I can categorically tell you that there are still some of us that, number one, we know the industry, we know where the problem lies, we know how you can avoid situations like this, and we still have conscience. That's the most important thing. If I did not have conscience, probably I will not be able to come here freely online to talk, because I'm sure a lot of people have. So basically, that's just the way these things are. So we have basically rejected a lot of things, or say we didn't soil our hands into things that would have tarnished or ruined our reputation. And that is why I've said it. See, because see, it doesn't matter where you are. I've seen instances too where some diasporan investors will say, it is my brother, I want to handle this. I'll just say, okay, fine, if that's what you want. So basically, there are more regulations coming. That's just the summary of everything. There are more regulations coming. So the first thing is that work with us. Now, what we have done so far is that none of the companies we've worked with or we've sold property for, none of their names on that list. There are 176, none is there. I'm telling you the facts. That's just the truth. So I can confidently tell you this is, and well, the glory goes to God. And secondly, it also goes to having a good team. Now, in my team, I have lawyers, I have surveyors, I have town planners, I have a lot of people. And the real estate work is not something you can do alone. If you choose to do it alone, you are going to get your hands soiled, and of course you definitely get into trouble. Do you understand? So these are some of the things that I've told, people say, I have my realtor, my realtor have been working with me. I say, fine, go and work with your realtor. But when problem comes, please don't don't, because I don't want a situation. So there are some things to work with us. Work with us. That's just one of the ways you can avoid this, because we tell you the way things are, okay? I'm not after personal gain. I'm just here because I'm so passionate about our people. It doesn't make sense after you've worked several years and you now put money in the wrong development. It's sad, very, very sad. And that nonsense has to stop. And that is why we are here. That is why we make public videos like this, to address, and inform and just notify you, so that if it happens, you will not say you were not told. I was telling somebody yesterday that of all the videos I've dropped on my YouTube channel, of all the videos I have on other social media, if you have been following me, you are not expected to make mistakes when invest. See, the Nigerian real estate is not as rigid as a lot of people have painted it to be. The industry is not as bad. Am I trying to totally eradicate the fact that they are scam? No, no, no. The point basically is that if you are greedy and you work with inexperienced person, you definitely get scammed. We know scam basically is not is not a situation that is only pertainable in Nigeria. It's scam is everywhere. But the most important thing that I'm trying to say basically is that if you don't work with the right person and you want to do real estate investment, you're going to get your hand bumped. So that's one of the things. So I've seen instances, I've seen different instances. So we're in a better position. Work with us. Ibeju-lekki, Ekpe, the island, Abramadesonya, Shongotedo, Abijo. Let me start mentioning names. Awoyaya, Lekki, Abraham. All those places. There's, if I was talking with a client, and I gave him my own breakdown assessment of the developer, and I said, see, this is what I have. This is the information. He said, I told him, go and verify. If paraventure all the information I have listed is false, I will render free service for you for the next 6 months. That was what I told the investor. The man said, this one you are sounding so confident. Okay, I'll do my findings. So the man got his family members, they got some lawyers and some people, and after they investigated, they found out everything I told was true. The man said, no, I now understand. So there is information on this video, on this my channel, on my YouTube. I have 408 videos talking about different aspects of real estate. I have different playlists. So if you are now investing in Nigeria and you're still investing wrongly, I'll say that fault is yours, because I'm not the only one making educative videos. I have some couple of respectable real estate practitioners that are also making videos, educative videos. The point basically is that Nigerians don't appreciate people who come online to tell them the truth, and that's why most of them get easily swayed by some investors, or I say investors, by some half-baked consultants. That's what they call themselves, and those ones put them in investors that later investment, okay, that later gets them into trouble. So on this channel, they have over 498 videos talking about different aspects. Is it land documents? Is it shortlet? Is it excision? Is it what you need to know? I've talked about water, low plan. I've talked about the. So if you have a channel like this at your disposal, and you're still making wrong research, I think the fault basically now because this is not the case whether I'm in diaspora or I'm in Lagos. No, this is a case of there's a timeline. Okay, there's a guide, an investment guide that is access to you. Maybe what I'm going to do is that I'm going to monetize my channel now. I'm going to make it like you have to be a member before you can access the video, because a lot of people are seeing this and they don't seem to appreciate it, and that is why I would beg people to subscribe. Subscription that you just click, ma'am, that you're not paying the time for. A lot of people will still watch, they will still not subscribe, they will still not, call us for inquiries, they won't allow us, and when they now get burnt to start, because we have a lot of things we need to attend to. So these are some of it. So concerning the 176 estate, it's a case of approval, and like I explained, basically, I am going to get to the root of the matter. In fact, I'm going to set my team members, my surveyors, and of course, we're going to get to the root of the matter. And trust me, when we'll be having this kind of conversation on my channel, on my Facebook, it will come in with details of what actually happened and what you need to do. So, but going forward, if you must buy, work with us and let us work with, because I will definitely introduce you to companies that are reputable. That's just it. So I'm not going to mention that name online. So I'm just going to quickly Isaac, can you please come? Can you get me my notes and my phone? Okay, so I'll be responding to some questions. Both of them. So I'll be responding to some questions very quickly. No, the questions are coming. So the number to send your question is +234 +234. The reason why you have to add +234 is when you are outside Nigeria. So like you're in diaspora and you're watching my video, just add +234, then 802 +234 802. That's the first 3 digits. 132. 132 is the middle digit. Then the last final digit is 7360. +234 802 132 7360. So that's the number. If you have been following us on our social media, on our YouTube, if you're watching our property matters, the number, that was, I definitely left the number there so that you'll be able to have it. So you can send your questions concerning this, or if there are other things I've discussed on my channel and you want clarifications, you can send it. You can also drop your questions on the comment section here too. I will respond to it, because I've had a lot of people who said I prefer to send my questions directly to your WhatsApp, so that even if you don't respond to it, social media, once you are off, the timeline is off. So whether if you choose to send it on the comment section, you are free to do so. If you want to send it via messages, you're also free to do so. Let's just have your questions, and then I intend to call it off very quickly. I think what I'm spending here is just 10 minutes more, because I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long. So 10 minutes more. So I'll start having the question. Okay, questions have started coming in. Thank you. Wow. So I have a question concerning, someone sent me a question. Oh my god. Okay. All right. So a lot of people have been talking about the coastal road. The reason why I decided to have um, the conversation with a professional in the field. The person I was with in that video yesterday is a licensed and registered surveyor. Is the head of our due diligence team. So if we are checking title, we are checking approvals, we are checking uh, right of way, anything that has to do with is the one that spearheaded. So I decided to bring him yesterday simply because a lot of people have been asking the same question. So I just wanted him to make some clarifications. So if you have missed that yesterday's video, the truth about the entities and premises, of course, the video is there, so you can go check it out. So attending to the first question. So the first question basically is that should we lose are we going to lose our properties along the Lagos Calabar Coastal Road because of the uncertainty of the setback? Okay, I'm just going to repeat what my surveyor said yesterday, and now, well, I can't say yes, I can't say no. I'm online because people always make references to your comment and some of the things you have said. So I'm not going to make any affirmation or confirmation, blah blah blah. I'm not going to do that. But basically, is that one of the things my surveyor said is that for everything you want to do along that Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, he said you should also consult with the Federal Ministry of Housing, because this setback will not be set by Lagos State government. The coastal road is a federal state project, okay, and um a lot of projects will be affected. So, and of course, you see, there been, if the whole almighty landmark could not be spared, landmark beach, and then some companies have started sending emails to their subscribers because they've actually suspended approval for development. So they said they are waiting on government to spit out their approved layouts. So they said if you can afford to wait, you can, but if you want them to relocate you elsewhere, you can. So that shows basically that the thing has not, been clearly stated. So if you are patient enough, please wait. Then if you cannot, then I think you have to see. So I won't say yes, I won't say no, but I'll say what my surveyor said yesterday. If you can work with the people at the federal government for them to tell you where to be affected and some other things that they can show you, I think you should. But the gazetted setback has not been announced yet. Okay, so it's still under the pipeline. So I hope that has answered your question. So I'm not saying your property will go. This time I say your property, let's just wait for the official publication of the right of way and then the setbacks that government will be stating. So that's just it. Okay, so I have another question. Okay, I almost mentioned your name, but if I can mention your name, please let me know. Can I? Okay, so I'm not going to mention your name. So this final question says, a surveyor in Alausa said the right of way for the Lagos, the Lekki Epe rail project is between 100 to 150, and your surveyor said it might be 93 meters. Which one should we hold for? Okay, I think this particular question is quite similar to what we had presently. Okay, so what you should do basically is that the right of way right now for that purple line train that will be coming from the mainland down to Ekpe, there's also going to be an official confirmation. But if you could recall that my surveyor, Mr. Boladi, said basically that government has the right to review the right of way on the road, and of course you should look at that as well. So there is no official confirmation. Though what we heard, someone said 150, but what I can say basically is that, and I'm also going to address um some real estate investors who are buying properties that are presently under reclamation. um The reason why I'm going to address this is that the two questions are interwoven, they are intertwined, and I really need to quickly explain this. Now, for the right of way, it might be 93 meters, it might be 150, just as your superiors have said. However, the one that is being enforced is now dependent on the kind of project that government wants to do. Like for instance, now they are going to do the Purple Line rail, and I also heard, okay, that there's also going to be a BRT lane that will also be constructed as well. That basically has not been officially published yet. However, if that should be the case, the right of way might be initially 93, and because of other projects and other things that government intends to do with that road, it might be increased. So it might be increased, it might be decreased. What determines what will be enforced is the kind of project they want to do. So if the project for the BRT is demanding for more road alignment or more right of way, it will be increased. But what I have presently is 93 meters that I'm working with. So that I hope that has answered the question. Now for reclamation, reclamations are lands, okay, where people are that is okay. How do I explain this now? A reclaimed land basically are lands that governments have not done anything meaningful there. Now, when I say not done anything meaningful there, now I've seen instances where some places you will notice that government is pumping sand there, or some obtained licenses from some various government institutions, and they are bringing out sand for sand filling in a reclamation area. Do you understand? So we have most of them, most of those lands are usually mostly lagoon fronts. Some of them are sometimes beach fronts, but these are lands that government have not done anything, but some individuals may have some connections to, okay, to either use that land for probably dredging, they're mostly dredging site and those likes. So we have some couple of those lands in some places in Lagos. Now I was listening to the interview, okay, that Miss Confidence had with the Lagos State Commissioner of the Environment in the person of Honorable Tokumbo Lawal, and he said something. Tokumbo, he said that Eba, attend somewhere now, won't disturb me. All right, so he said that the standard setback or the standard right of way that will be enforced for any reclamation site is 200 meters. He didn't even say 150, he said 200 meters. Then whenever there is a need for them to enforce that, that is going to ensure that the 200 meters are enforced. Now, my major concern basically is that some of these companies that are selling have C of O's, but with the things I've observed recently, basically is that when C of O's are being issued to properties, and you see this enforcement of approved layout that Lagos State government is trying to achieve is going to solve a lot of problems. So I can come to you and say I have a C of O on a particular property. However, if there is no approved layout from government that is being enforced now to show where the C of O starts from to where it ends, That means if government want to enforce the right of way or any other thing, there might be adjustments to it. So carrying a C of O is not just the only thing that you should look out for. More important, if you are buying all these reclamation sites, it is very important for you to look at that C of O or the layout and ensure that the layouts that has been spelled out, the right of way or the setback is being enforced. Now, the reason basically is that government have left that land for a while. They don't seem to be doing anything on those lands. And where the problem will come basically is that a lot of people would have bought not knowing that most of these guys may not work with the approved setbacks. And what will happen basically is that the moment you have encroached into a government ordained plan for that place, when a penalty fee is being given, that this is what you pay or this is the requirement that you have to pay or you have to do for this place to become habitable for you, most times why government has to enforce demolitions most times is because of the fact that the damages are always beyond what can be tolerated. And that was why we have several demolitions in the quarter. In fact, there are several ones that will be coming. So I have a video to that effect. I'll be explaining that. So, and this is why you have to stay tuned to this channel and look and be part of this, because a lot of information will be coming out here. Basically, the information is to guide you. So basically, what you should do basically is that ensure that the setback, that 200, before they will allocate you, ensure it is after that 200 though. Ensure it's after that 200 though. Because you see this present administration, they are hell bent on ensuring that the right thing is done. Now another administration can now come and say, okay, fine, we'll use it one, but the most important thing is that shall ensure that what is being given to you is what is in the plan, so that there won't be stories that touch. I hope I've answered that question. If in situations like that, I would take subsequent questions. So this is where I am going to draw the curtain of today's segment of property matters live session. The 170, like I said, more information, because trust me, we're going to go into investigations. We're going to find out what actually happened. We're going to find out what actually happened to those development companies. And of course, you can be rest assured, as long as God keeps giving us life, good health, and everything, you will never make wrong real estate, because we will also make sure that every necessary information for you to make the right decision is always at your beck and call. I want to quickly say a very big thank you to everybody that has joined me today. I really want to say thank you for your support. I don't know. I've been online. I've been offline for quite a while. Yeah, I was offline because my mom is quite down, so I've been in and out of the hospital just to ensure that everything is in order. That was why I was not off online all through last week at some time. She's currently getting better, so I may be off this week, but that was why I decided to have this live session today, basically, and I'll try to come online one more time this week by God's grace, and give you info. But one thing is certain: as long as you are with us, you will never make wrong decisions. So thank you very much, and the next live session by the special grace of God will be tomorrow. I'll be here by God's grace tomorrow, and tomorrow might be my last live session for this week by God's grace. So, of course, if I'm going to come and have another live session after tomorrow or for another time, of course, I will communicate to you, my wonderful listeners, viewers, and of course, people who have patronized us. Okay, in case you're wondering, you want to do real estate in Nigeria, house, land, short lets off plan, completed building, you know what to do now. You're talking to us. See you by tomorrow by God's grace. God bless you. Bye for now.